I don't think it's an overstatement to say that security dominates the conversation when it comes to IT these days. It's pretty much all anybody talks about. And I get it, like it's a big freaking deal. But I think it's important to think about it in maybe a little more nuanced way. Security has a tendency to be positioned as its own thing, right? That the idea of security is a set of products and services that are distinct from everything else that goes on in IT. So you've got your IT services and then you've got security, right? That's kind of how it's sort of evolved, I think, at least in terms of the discussion. And I think it's really important to think about it a little bit differently when you're in the seat and you're thinking about how do I best protect my company's assets and what are the risks that we're facing. I like to make this distinction of there's security and then there's secure. Security in this case means what I just described, which is a new set of products or services that you're putting on top of existing IT services. And those are network, cloud and collaboration, and end user and device support management. So if you take those three things and you've got a set of IT services around them, doing those securely, it doesn't eliminate the need for potentially other security services, but it greatly reduces them. Here at Plow, we're really trying to focus on how do we do core IT securely? How do we manage your network in such a way that you don't need a bunch of other security services on top of that to basically compensate for the crappy network design that you've got in place, or the lack of segmentation, or the lack of proper access management. Because if you do those things, you don't necessarily need a boatload of dedicated security software and products on top of that. Again, I'm not saying you don't need any, but it greatly reduces the need for it. Same is true in the cloud, same is true on the end user and device side. If you've got devices set up correctly, if they're patched and managed, and you've got good training for your people, honestly, you don't need a whole lot else to be secure. And so I'd challenge you to think about that and be careful of the sort of the shiny object around additional security services. Make sure that you're taking care of the foundation first before you worry about putting the icing on the cake.